Who is this that disturbs creation? Who cracks the bonds of matter and classifies the rubble? Who samples the dust in the deserts of Mars and light from the edges of time? Who reconstructs the eons of Earth and numbers its mass extinctions? What kind of creature could tinker with cells and play with the blueprints of life? You who grasp the tragic fate to recreate the world, gird your soul to grapple with angels and demons inside while I test your pride with questions. Where were you when I lit the stars and forged primordial galaxies? Were you there when I molded the sun and chiseled the moon from molten earth? Tell me how you trapped the gas and tamed the Hadean greenhouse. Did you summon the mile-high glaciers and guide the conveyors of continents? Could you construct a living cell and craft new kingdoms of life, then engineer an Eden to nurse emerging souls? So you've mastered the tools of logic, teased truths from tangles of facts, captured the core of koans and woken new worlds within. Can you follow the heart of compassion? Are you able at last to manage your soul, to bear the eye of awareness and manage the tedium of time with me? Across the long ages, I'm calling you out of your childhood. Will you grow beyond your grasping and nurture the world with me? Will you one day call me companion? That was Voice of the Whirlwind, a modern riff off an ancient poem written some 2,600 years ago. You can read it now. It's called the Book of Job. Tonight I've got a set of 9 poems that are meant as a modern prophecy. Prophecy is not necessarily prediction. It's more a warning of possible futures and a voice of some kind of justice. I'll be using a few terms. The term I'll first define is Gaia. Many of you know that. It's a Greek goddess of creation of the world. I had a modern revival with Lovelace and the Gaia hypothesis, which sees the Earth as an interrelated, stabilizing, perhaps, organism. So we can use it as a metaphor or some sort of reality. Anybody that would aspire to be prophetic must lay out their credentials. This poem is called Witness. I was born on the edge of the empire of wealth and raised in the spell of wonder. The beauty of earth was a birthright. I played in tame creeks and wandered fields of broom's edge. My scent was dirt and dogville. I biked through sun showers and rode home through rainbows. I roamed about my father's world, and Gaia was my guardian. I heard her whisper, but did not know her name. I came of age in church basements, humming Friday night folk songs and Sunday morning hymns. Brotherhood was my soundtrack, and peace was a march away. I thought we changed the world, but the age of Aquarius was just a song. Now it's half a century since Apollo 8 witnessed the Christmas Eve Earthrise. I've seen 50 springs of Earth days, 50 years of EPA. 50 years since leaded gas, since DDT, since rivers burned. I watched brown haze lift, shad runs recover, bald eagles return. I watched the population soar. As we broke the land to feed the billions, 4 became 8 on the way to 12. I watched the temperature creep. I saw oceans acidify, glaciers retreat, growing zones stray north. I watched the good earth diminish. Life hollowed out. On my watch, 1 million species winked away. Now I hear the whisper of Gaia again, her hymn and the trill of insect wings, her songs and the chorus of toads. She calls in the song of a morning dove in the still of a summer day. She speaks in the shimmering leaves. Gentle spirits, persevere, for you are the balm of the earth, the dawn mist in a withered land. Let the fierce engage the fierce, and let the vicious contend. They have their role when troubles come. But you, beloved, soft as water, you are called to be her witness. Be still and inherit the earth. Another term, Anthropocene. That's a proposed geological epoch that started when humankind had the first major effects on the geology. It's most often proposed to have happened when we see the radioactive fallout in the sediments, and that would be somewhere between 1945 and 1963 with the atmospheric testing. So we have entered this epoch of the Anthropocene. This poem is called A Summons. Who will mourn the age of man when the epoch of Adam is done? His dream of dominion has cursed the earth. Our sweat has stained the ground. Now we swagger into the Anthropocene, where sickness shatters the lands and death depletes the seas. When cycles of life are spinning askew, Gaia cries out for her creatures to tend the afflictions of earth. Listen, set aside your books to hear. She speaks her truths in feral tongues. In the howling crown of a wildfire, in the crumbling face of a glacier, in the cracking of ice on the Arctic Sea, a summons comes to humankind. Go make an ark of living earth, woven from grasslands, rivers, and trees. 10,000 arks across the globe, refugia fit for Gaia. Make an ark of the boreal forest, an ark of the chaparral. Set aside the high desert, keep the tundra intact. Consider each reef a cathedral, and every swamp a sanctuary. Let lawns revert to meadows, and plant 1 trillion trees. For a fever flushes the face of Gaia. Her time of trials has come. In this age, an Eden awaits. In your hands, the seed. A decade ago, I visited China on lecturing professionally. We were taken to, at one point, the Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River. The Yangtze River is the longest river in China. There's a section of it that flows between Chongqing and Wuhan. It's Three Gorges Highland, beautiful highland. That has dammed up starting in 2006, finished in 2012. This poem is called Yangtze Blues. Deep in the highlands of Hubei, some still hear its song, rising out of mist and mountain, gray home of gods now gone, refuge of wayfaring mystic and misfit, place where the wild torrent coursed through gorges once upon a time ago. But now the long river languishes, flat and heavy. Murky deepness drowns Three Gorges, sighs behind a concrete slab, controlled and still until release. To wander ancient river plains that birthed and nurtured feudal lords, a brand new land of grit and coal, of dusky skies that smother cities, town and village, torn and pillaged, taken into concrete bore, till onward into paradise of tollway roads and high-rise roads, and cities of 10 million souls, new centers that were meant to sparkle, broker fortunes, beckon dreams, and draw beleaguered masses forward, soar into a gray-brown skyscape, lined with cranes and belching stacks that stitch the land and sky with smog and seal the earth beneath the load of human progress. East meets west and ups the ante, heeds the siren, staggers forward, fading into midday haze. From the highlands of Hubei, so very far away from Eden, I can hear the good earth groaning, crushed beneath a billion souls, just seeking salvation and wealth. And so the modern world goes, as Gaia sighs and turns to stone, to wait upon a wiser age, when sages and keepers will come once again. To abide is to wait patiently, to maintain stasis. This one is called A Time to Abide. She drifts into cities on fertile winds, probes cracks with pollen and spores. She settles into soft places. Sterility offends, so she seeps through seals, penetrates pipes and wires. She bathes in neon green lagoons. In the sludge of industrial waste ponds, she knits new enzymes. She sleeps in seed banks beneath the streets of Rio and the ring roads of Beijing. She breathes the smog of Karachi, the dust of Dhaka and Delhi. She filters the grit of Mexico City. She creeps into slums of Sao Paulo, Kolkata, Jakarta, Lagos, Lahore. She sinks deep roots. She savors Manhattan's shadows, where pavement ants eat pizza crumbs and coyotes scavenge Epicurean rats. On the ragged margins of Midwestern farms, in pockets of the once great plains, in exhausted southern cotton fields, and ashes of ancient rainforests torched for soy and palm, she waits. As she watches the modern world go down beneath the weight of 8 billion souls, she sings to the heart of humanity, heal. For time is a balm, and as long as sun and earth endure, through broken ages, Gaia abides. An important law of ecology is there's no such thing as a free lunch. The law of cause and effect, karma, whatever. While Gaia abides, She also judges. This one's called The Reluctant Judgment of Gaia. For 3 transgressions of humankind, and for 4, I would not turn away my care. But I cannot cancel your karma, nor soften your self-affliction. For you sold a species for silver, parakeets for feather hats, rhino horns for hangover pills. You carved tusks and called it art. You gutted the mountains for copper, cut forests for paper cups, pillaged the living hills for coal, and filled the hollows with scree. You scoured the earth for baubles and gems, plowed and fenced the bison plains, encroached on the home of the mountain gorilla, and poached the lands of the poor. You drained the ancient aquifers to till the edges of deserts. You pimped your crops with exotic genes and sowed the soil with poison. You fattened your cattle in pits of filth, your pigs in seething pens. You stuffed their guts with feed and drugs and drained their blood for meat. From drippings and stench to kitchens, a grim resistance awaits. Soon a mutant strain breaks free, and mean fevers sweep the globe. You who dwell in the riches of Babylon, flush in the soaring of stocks, forever whoring your mother for more, for you the fire, the plague, the drought. Guard your hearts, you orphans of Eden. A vicious spirit afflicts the earth, and you are the conflagration. Ashes of continents curse your kind. Yet, oh, how I gather you back in my garden and wash away your pain. I would nurture my bright-eyed progeny, but you, beloved, you would not. Plate tectonics occurring over a long period of time are vital to Earth's ecosystem. They've also, over time, created and destroyed supercontinents, moved cratons around the globe. This one's called The Prophecy of Rocks. The rocks below you cry aloud. The solid ground you stand on floats. Foundations of your cities shift. Beneath the crust, the mantle stirs, a seething churn of mineral stew, tracing circuits trench to core, and back again to seafloor ridge. Extruding mass from ocean vents, paving plates with new basalt. You ride on granite arcs above a superheated sea of ore, as Earth rocks quarter-billion-year beats. Continents glide around the globe in an endless crustal contradance. Laurentia, Baltica, Siberia, Australia diverge, divide, converge, collide, and cluster together again and again. Nuria, Rodinia, Gondwana, Pangaea, supercontinents always split. Oceans are puddles that open before us. We'll bridge the Pacific inch by inch, lurching west through quakes and jolts, and topple your ruins, shred the remains, and bury the bones of your species' descent. Beneath the supercontinent, Amasia lies a beat ahead. Earth rocks quarter-billion-year beats, foundations shift beneath your feet, and mock your brief dominion. Come to my penultimate poem, the title of the set. But first, a reminder again that prophecy is not prediction. This one is not necessary, but it is within the realm of possibility still. This is called what haunts the end of the Anthropocene. There will be rats, of course, rooting through palm fronds by the shores of the Barren Sea. Balmy air will soften the Arctic night as glaciers of Greenland melt into sea and tundra crumbles to methane and mud. This is a world bereft of puffins, where phantom bears hunt vanished ice and ghosts of narwhal haunt the coast. The land is a banquet for buzzards and blowflies. Abandoned cities are concrete reefs where starfish sift through barnacled ruins. Out past the algal-clouded lagoons, past bleached coral coated with slime, plastic islands choke the oceans. Gaia swoons, her fever peaks. Her skin is cracked with asphalt slabs, her veins convulsed with biocides. Extinction sweeps the earth again on the cutting edge of the Anthropocene. Beyond the bottleneck, coming soon, the kingdom of jellyfish, the realm of the cockroach, the golden age of fungi. Earth itself is not in peril. Life on Earth has gone on for some 4 billion years. Complex life, about more than a half billion years. During that time, there have been 5 major extinctions. Earth has each time recovered. There are natural processes that occur over millions of years. However, the Anthropocene turns out, whether it's a garden that we somehow cultivate or the wasteland that I just described, Earth will create another set of natural history. This one is called, the last one's called To Heal an Epoch. Do not despair for Earth, beloved. All you know will pass away, but in the mortal life of Gaia, 1 billion years are yet to be. With her, 100,000 years is as a half a day, and a cycle of seasons is just a beat in the pulse that cleanses the world. So look to the sea where her cycles reset. Consider the coastal ocean, where infusion of open sky meets the disillusion of land. It happens atom by atom in the vastness of a droplet, where 1,000 algae live out their lives, basking in the paths of sunbeams, drawing carbon from the sea. Out of 1,000 of broken cells settles out of the sunlit realm. Down through dark abyssal depths, it sinks to oblivion, atoms entombed on the ocean floor. As seasons crowd the centuries in the stately drift of millennia, what happens to microscopic lives clears the air, heals the sea. For as sure as aged detrital muck locks carbon in hardened rock, as sure as winters freeze and thaw, and summer squalls carve paths in stone, as sure as the Rockies erode to the plains, sink into seas, and rise again, as sure as the God of second chances is God of 70 times 7 chances, Gaia will weave in Eden again. Thank you.